For decades, the automotive industry followed a predictable technological hierarchy. Introducing a new system meant a multi-year procurement cycle managed from the top down. Advanced language models like GPT-3 had been available for years, but they remained locked away from the average employee. Using them required a level of technical fluency that most staff simply didn't possess. To a technician or a service advisor, artificial intelligence wasn't a practical resource. It was an abstract experiment for data scientists, with no clear application to the physical work of moving parts and fixing cars. Because AI was difficult to use, institutions believed they held the keys to its deployment. They assumed they would decide if and when the technology would enter the workplace. This sense of control was reinforced by the industry's structure. Most automotive organizations are built as a series of functional silos. Sales, service, manufacturing, and marketing operate as independent domains. Executives assumed AI would arrive as a vertical tool, a specific software package to optimize one department at a time. But large language models are horizontal by nature, providing a general reasoning capability that crosses every departmental boundary simultaneously. The industry wasn't just behind on the tech. The way these companies were organized made it difficult for them to absorb a tool that didn't stay in its assigned lane. This dynamic changed on November 30th, 2022, when OpenAI released ChatGPT as a free research preview. The breakthrough wasn't a massive jump in raw computing power. Instead, OpenAI removed the technical barrier. They replaced complex coding requirements with a simple text box, allowing anyone to interact with AI through conversation. The response was immediate. ChatGPT reached 100 million users in 2 months, a pace that surpassed the adoption of the telephone, the internet, and the smartphone. By making the technology accessible to everyone, the user base shifted overnight from specialized engineers to the general public. The shock to the automotive industry was caused not by a new discovery in a lab, but by a change in user experience. While headquarters began drafting long-term AI strategies and forming committees, the workforce was already putting the tool to use on the ground. In the dealership service lane, advisors started using ChatGPT to draft professional responses to frustrated customers, turning technical jargon into clear, empathetic emails in seconds. On the factory floor, engineers began querying machine error codes on their personal phones, getting instant troubleshooting advice that would normally take hours to find through official IT channels. This is the rise of shadow AI, a situation where employees use unapproved, ungoverned consumer tools to do their jobs more efficiently than the company's official systems allow. For the first time, a frontline employee with a smartphone often had more processing power and intelligence at their fingertips than the corporation provided on their desktop computer. These workers weren't trying to break the rules. They were simply choosing the most effective way to work, making institutional technology bottlenecks irrelevant. Many automotive executives reacted by trying to treat ChatGPT as a traditional vendor product, something to be vetted, purchased, and bolted onto a specific department. This approach ignored the need for intelligence architecture. This is the foundational layer an organization needs to securely manage data and AI capabilities across the entire company. When an unstructured conversational tool can be used by everyone from sales to engineering, the traditional boundaries between departments become a hindrance to how that tool functions. Ultimately, ChatGPT showed that an organizational model built around isolated tasks lacks the internal framework to govern a technology that performs across all of them at once. AI is no longer a discrete piece of software to be bought for a single department. It is shifting away from being a tool and becoming a form of digital infrastructure. It now functions more like the electrical grid, a basic requirement that must be integrated into the core of every operation to be effective. This leaves the industry with a structural question. Can a transaction-focused business model reorganize itself to support this kind of interconnected intelligence? The widespread use of shadow AI by the workforce means organizations now have to choose between managing these capabilities formally or allowing their staff to continue using them in secret.